Alexander Stafford.
And it's a pleasure to rise to welcome this great debate for the budget, which really gets to the heart of what this government does, and that is about levelling up. First of all, levelling up is so important for Rother Valley and people who live in my constituency. Now, there has been debate about what levelling up is, and to me it's about creating the opportunities and creating the job creation and wealth that we deserve in the north as other places historically have in the south. Now, I often think we should treat levelling up like you treat a natural disaster. You need that sort of emergency aid pumped in, that short, sharp sort of injection of cash, but more importantly, one that cameras are gone, you need that long-term support of aid, of the skills and training. And in fact, some of my constituents have said maybe Rother Valley is like a natural disaster, having ruled for Labour for 101 years. But at last, this government, with the helicopters, the Chinooks flying over, is coming to the aid of living up in Rother Valley. So I welcome this move. They're looking at both the short-term and the long-term funding. So I'm incredibly pleased that this government is actually investing in Rother Valley.
Absolutely.
Now, Rother Valley and Rotherham Council, we put in 2 bids to Living Up Fund, divided bids, but 2 bids that would cover Living Up. And they both cover the short, sharp measures we needed, but also the long-term growth measures that needed. And this is following my 2,000-person parliamentary petition, my German debate on levelling up, and the rest other work I have done convincing Rotherham Council to actually invest in our area. And I'm pleased to say that one of those bids was successful. So we have a £4.5 million grant for Maltby Academy, which will create an incubator space for skills and apprenticeships. The Gulliver Skills Village will create training and areas of accreditation for hospitality, creating jobs. And Rother Valley Country Park will be overhauled to create new jobs in the area and also new leisure seats. So these are the overarching measures that we need to create that long-term growth. Skills, jobs, that is what the Levelling Up does, that £11 million pot does for Rother Valley. So I'm incredibly pleased. And this is on top of all the other measures that the government has announced, that long-term skills, long-term skills and the desire to create more jobs. Whether it's the £570 million given to South Yorkshire for the transport, which is over needed, but also for things like the taper rate, cutting the taper rate by 8%. That is putting more money in people's pockets, showing people that the Conservative government is the government that is on the workers' side. And only by getting jobs and prosperity can we actually level up our areas. And this government is actually doing that. However, I'll have to say I am mildly disappointed that our bid for the £9 million for Dinnington High Street was not successful. And obviously, for me, that is that short, sharp injection of cash much needed to the High Street. Now, when the then Secretary of State for Communities in charge of Living Up came, the member for Newark came, he toured Dinnington High Street with me. He witnessed the burnt-out building opposite my office. And I noted in the prospectus for Levelling Up Fund, there was even talk about using the money to get rid of burnt-out buildings. The Levelling Up Fund is designed for areas like Dinnington in Rother Valley. So I do hope that with working with the Dinnington Land Trust, Dinnington Council, Rotherham Council puts in an even stronger bid in spring for that money. And I know I've got great guarantees already from this government that we've had 1 bite of the cherry, but there's 2 more to go. And I know I'll be working with this government to make sure that our next round for Levelling Up is even stronger, so that we can have that money we so need. So this budget overall is giving those long-term measures to help look after areas like Rother Valley and across the north of England. But I also plead for this government is, do remember those short, sharp injections of cash we need in Rother Valley as well, for our high streets, but not just in Dinnington, for Maltby, for Thurcroft, for Aston, for Swallownest, for across Rother Valley. And together, we will overturn this natural disaster and improve Rother Valley for everyone.
And just to remind everybody that if